you, and thanks for joining us here at Chili Smith. This is Dale Smith. I'm Steve Smith, and we wanted to introduce you to our brand new store here in Carmichael on Fair Oaks Boulevard. Some of you may be aware of the Chili Smith story and have been and shopped at our store before, but we're going to give you a little tour on this and also tell you the story about Chili Smith and how it started. So Dale, do you remember how all of this started when we started cooking chili?
I do. He found his parents' recipe in an old book that was hidden away in a garage, and he hadn't seen it for years. And he got it out, and it's like, oh, it just brought back history. It brought back his family. It brought back their stores where they used to make chili. It was his mother's recipe, and all of the people that would come to their stores would say, "You still got that chili?" Because it was the best thing they ever sold. And so Steve started making it at home. And boy, it was really good. I mean, it was so good, I would have it for breakfast or for lunch or for dinner. It was that good. So that's how he got started making chili for Chili Smith. It's a great story.
Thank you. Now, the first thing you learn about Steve is that you never mess with anything that's already perfect, right? So the first thing we did is we changed the beans. We had discovered heirloom beans that are locally grown here in Northern California, and we made friends with the growers, and they allowed us to market their beans anywhere that we wanted under our own label, and we're grateful for that. We discovered a bean that helps, and we removed salt from the chili. In the day, in the 1950s and 60s, we consumed a whole lot more salt than we do now. Now, Dale still likes salt. I have my fair share, but a lot of folks don't. So the products that we make are mostly what's called SOS free. Salt, oil, and sugar are not added to the products. You can always add more salt, which Dale does. You can always add more of whatever you want. Our chilies are not overly hot, overly spicy. And the reason for that is my mom used to teach us, she'd say, "Honey, be careful when you're adding the spice because you can always add a little more, but you cannot take it out." Now, Dad had a different way of saying it. He said, "Hey," and that was Dad's talk, right? "Hey, you want to take it easy on that because you want our chili to taste like you've had a party for your mouth, but you don't want it to stay and do the dance all night." And so we've learned to spice our foods, our prepared foods, and you're going to see some of them in a minute on the tour, to be right kind of moderate. You can always add more heat, but you can't take it out. And so these are 2 packages of the chilies that we now make. And of course, when my parents made chili in the restaurants, and they served tons and tons and tons of it, literally, it was just called chili. Naturally, I had to change the name, so we call it ranch hand chili. And one of the changes that we made is we now make our chili. It is a meat chili, but it's made with grass-fed beef that's locally grown and raised here in Northern California at family-friendly farms in Grass Valley. We also have pasture-raised pork in the product. So we feel like it's a little bit healthier than maybe what we had in the day, but we still think Mom and Dad would like it. And as my sister has reminded me, you're the only guy I know that would take an old recipe and create a business. And that's what we've done. When Dale and I started Chili Smith, we didn't start it as a food store or really about the chili. We started it as a place where you can have delicious, wholesome, aromatic foods that you put on your table that bring friends and families back around the table. Because that's where your life story begins, is at the table. So thank you for joining us here at Chili Smith, and we'll give you a quick tour. Darling, you can go that way, and I'll catch up with you in just a minute so you can show your part of the store. Okay, here we go. All right, so while we're here, you're going to meet some of the folks that we work with. This young lady is Nina. Nina is Aztecan from Mexico and has been with us now for 7-8 years, and she's an excellent cook. She does all kinds of things for us in packing. She is Chili Smith's backbone, and we appreciate her. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Saturnina Cervantes y trabajo aquí. Es un orgullo para mí trabajar para el señor Steve. Tenemos aquí, tenemos el empaque aquí del frijol, aquí empacamos en este lugar todo el frijol. Hacemos también los paquetes con la verdura y los sazones que es las recetas del señor Steve. También tenemos diferentes frijoles muy ricos, muy buenos, de muy buena calidad. Tenemos frijoles como son sopas, son chilis, son sopas diferentes. Tenemos diferentes sopas, tenemos diferentes, de todo frijoles plain que no tienen sazonadores. Es un frijol de excelente calidad que realmente le recomendamos. Es un trabajo muy excelente de parte del señor Steve y de su esposa, la señora Deor. Son excelentes. También posteriormente tenemos tortillas frescas, tenemos también arroz mexicano y también tenemos tamales mexicanos. Estamos a sus órdenes, es un excelente, visítenos aquí y el señor Steve ya dio su receta y su dirección. Es algo maravilloso y trabajar para él en esta compañía es excelente. Muchas gracias, gracias por venir.
Thank you, Nina. Nina is instrumental not only in what we do here in our packing and overseeing operations, and when we have large orders, overseeing the people that we bring in. She's also an outstanding cook. And so, as she mentioned, we sometimes are fortunate enough to feature some of her foods. And so her rice is absolutely excellent and customers love it. They can't wait to get it. She makes handcrafted tortillas. She makes handcrafted tamales. She just does great jobs with food. And so in part of what we're trying to accomplish with the new store is to provide her and others with a place to be able to showcase their goods. And so when you come into our store or you see us online, you may see the label Nina's Azteca. And Nina's Azteca means that Nina has approved it, and so it's her recipe. Sometimes she's making it, sometimes she lets us make it, but it's always Nina's Azteca. The other thing you'll notice is we work with several people. One of them is Twyla. Twyla is our plant-based guru. She knows more about plant-based than practically anybody. And when we first started years ago, Twyla joined our team and has been instrumental in helping us take plant-based cooking to the masses because beans lend themselves so well to that. Not everything that we cook is plant-based, but everything that we have that says Twyla approved in our freezer is product that Twyla has looked at and put her stamp of approval on. So we're very grateful for her as well. Coming back over here in the new store, you'll see that these shelves are just now getting loaded with beans. And some of these beans you may not recognize the name because they're not the same names that you might find at a normal grocery store. These are all beans that are locally grown. Everything in Chili Smith is locally grown. It's within an hour's drive of here. Now, with the exception of lentils. We don't grow lentils in California, so we bring ours from Montana. The rices, the wild rice, the beans, everything else, our seasonings, all of it is locally crafted and locally grown. We try to meet cooks wherever they are. So if somebody says, I already know about cooking beans and how to do it, that's great. Then they can just get beans that are just packed by themselves. If they're learning about beans and learning about seasoning beans, we develop the iPot line. So we have that over here with the chilies, some soups, and some specialty items, and some of the frijoles de la olla, beans for the pot that we have here. The beauty of these is, and we do a separate video on these, is you're able to just put them inside of an electric or normal pressure cooker and have it all ready to go, going from dried beans to fully prepared meals in less than an hour. It's just a beautiful thing. And you'll see those just as you come in the front door here at Chili Smith. So we come over to this side of the store, which is really kind of a comfort level. And I want to reintroduce Dale. She is the sweet lady that handles this side of the store, and she'll finish the tour from here.
Aha. So, aside from working at Chili Smith, I'm also a realtor, Coldwell Banker, but in addition to that, I am a stager. So a lot of the props and things like this, the decorative items that you see, I brought in. But Steve and I thought about it and we decided, well, what if I bring in some extra things in case people might like to buy them? So all these things are either things that I've used in staging or things that I've collected that I just really like. So if you like any of them, they are for sale. There's usually a price tag on the bottom. And if you come around here, guys, there's more. And there is also more over there. Everything above the fireplace. I love all of this stuff. I hope you like it too. I think it gives a store a certain unique perspective, but it's just a great place to come and meander through and see what appeals to you. And everything is priced very reasonably, so it's not so, oh my God, it's so expensive. No, it isn't. It's very low priced. So that's my part. Okay, Steve, back to you.
Thank you. Now, this is our check stand. You can see everything is modern, so when you get ready to go, we can check things out quickly. We do accept credit cards. We do accept checks. Don't see that much anymore. We do accept cash. I've been known to accept firstborn if they don't eat much and they're well behaved. So that's what we're willing to do. This space, in the day, for those of you that are local, was Boulevard Coffee 20 years ago. Boulevard did most of this work. We brought our coffee equipment in and some of our equipment in to put it in here, and we'll be adding to that. That's part of what's under construction. Because I don't even have our food permit yet. But we are ready to do our classes. So over on this section, we don't do any open flame cooking. Everything is done with induction cooking. Oops, and let me turn this down a little bit while we're here. We're cooking some potatoes for lunch right now. Then in this section, so now we've got all of this. Now I'm going to take you on a little tour through our prep area and out to the outside. This is our preparation area, and it is wonderful. We're getting ready to install a 3-compartment sink. We're getting ready to replace the floor because we need to have it seamless. So this is the most under construction area of the whole new store. And we need to complete those before we can start getting our permit and doing some other things. But out here, what we want you to see, some of you that have been around for a long time and know Chili Smith recognize this as what we've named Chili Smith Park. That home, this park, and our building are all owned by the same people. And this just has always been here. This building was built in 1948. This family's owned this property since the 1960s, and they allow us to use this. So we've had slow foods out here. We've had children in schools out here. When we were talking about planting beans, families are able to come out, put down a blanket, sit together, listen to some of the speakers that we may have and some of the tastings that we may have, get to know their neighbors because we're about community. Down this way, this is a beautiful little garden area that has been here for many, many, many years. Look at the size of this beautiful thing and this beautiful covering. Now we're still in February here in Sacramento and Carmichael, so it hasn't grown back yet, but spring is coming. We were able to bring one of our smokers over here. We've got it fired up now because we're going to do a little bit of a lunch for these nice people that are filming us. So we've got it coming down to Kohl's. And on Saturdays, we are able to set tables out here to where we're on a busy boulevard, but it doesn't sound like it because the building actually breaks the sound for us. And so if you're here fortunate enough to be with us on a Saturday, you may be invited to come back and get your food and come back here. So when you're in the Carmichael area, we're open. We've only been open on Saturdays now for several years. In fact, going clear back to COVID. We're going to be opening more days, so pay attention to our website, which is chilismith.com, and we'll be adding more hours. We'll be open from 10 to 2, where you can come in, get a cup of coffee, hopefully a chili to take home, hopefully some hot chili or hot soup that we've prepared as our permit process and growth continues. This is where you will sign up for classes and tasting parties, and when you're invited to those, you'll come in, have a seat here, and enjoy it. We've got 55-inch screens here and Thomas and Carrie have set them up to where we can broadcast live. So when we have overflow, you can sit in Granny's section by the fireplace and still be part of what we're doing here. So we hope that you'll come and enjoy us. We hope this works for everybody. We feel it's real important to have local community, and we've invested heavily in it. So we thank you very much for all your support. We look forward to serving you, and we hope to see you soon. Thanks a lot.